These people that are now selling T-shirts with Charlie Kirk and a bullet wound in his neck, they cannot be negotiated with. You cannot debate with them. You cannot persuade them to vote Republican. You cannot appeal to them. You will never convince them that you're a good person, that you just want the best for everybody. You will never get them to stop hating you. People like to say, well, can the left finally admit that they have their own problem? They'll never admit that. They'll never admit that.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome to yesterday's news channel. Nick Fuentes was one of the loudest critics of Charlie Kirk's ideology. Today, I have part of Nick Fuentes' response and reaction to the assassination of Charlie Kirk. His words may surprise you depending on your opinion or impression of Nick Fuentes. Anyway, I thought Nick Fuentes' message about Charlie Kirk and those that are celebrating his murder in this video was worth spreading, and I think, check that. I hope it resonates with a lot of you. Let's go.
As you know, Charlie Kirk was assassinated yesterday afternoon doing one of his Change My Mind events, his college tour. It was one of the first stops on his new college tour in Utah. Started out like any other day. And I'm sure for him it was just another day. He's done this hundreds of times. He got dressed, he went to the event, talked it up with politicians and friends of his, said this is going to be a great event, filmed TikToks, and all of a sudden a shot rang out. He died, I assume, instantly, although some of the details are uncertain. People fled. He's now gone. It is undeniable that he was a towering figure in American conservatism. It's undeniable. He was ambitious. He was a hard worker. He did things I cannot do. A lot of people said after his passing, I saw some people make oblique references to it. They said, well, if Charlie Kirk was assassinated, now the far right will step up. I don't know that there's anyone that could fill his shoes. I don't know that there's anyone that can do what he did. He died at 31 years old and left a legacy that many people could not achieve in many lifetimes. He hosted a show 3 hours a day. He went and faced down his enemies in debate, would debate anybody, anywhere, stare them down, and people don't know how difficult that is. He would sit there for hours on any subject, and then he would return home from the command center and direct the largest youth organization, the most ambitious project in conservative politics maybe ever, and he did it all before the age of 31. An absolutely brilliant, sharp, fierce warrior for his values and his beliefs. And as I said, I disagreed with them strongly. I'll make no bones about that, and that hasn't changed. But you have to admire that this was a fighter, this was a worker, this was a champion, and above all else, maybe this is what I respected about him the most. We had our disagreements. Where we did agree is that he would go to these college campuses and proclaim the name of Jesus Christ. And ultimately, that is why he was killed. Everyone will be persecuted for the sake of Jesus Christ. Anyone, everyone, fighting and winning that spiritual battle for Christ and for his kingdom will be persecuted for his sake. And I don't believe Charlie Kirk was any different. We disagreed on much, but we agreed about abortion. We agreed about feminism. We agreed about many of the other moral, social ills of the country. And when you look at his most vicious detractors, the people celebrating his death now, possibly, probably, the gunmen that killed him, they hated him because of his defense of Christian morality. And for that, I consider him a true martyr. And I hope his reward is in heaven. I'll also say he was clearly a loving father, a loving husband. He was beloved by millions of people. That is obvious. And although I do not count myself among his fans, it was clear that millions upon millions of decent, earnest, good people, Christians, patriots, they did love him. And he belongs to them. And out of respect for them, I say that Charlie Kirk was a good man. God bless him. And despite our differences, our past debates, I consider that over. And I pray for the repose of his soul, for his family, for him.
What I like about what Nick Fuentes had to say there about Charlie Kirk was he didn't just offer a perfunctory statement. He honored Charlie Kirk. He praised him not only for his work, but as a man. And you could tell, this is my opinion, I could tell, this wasn't lip service. Nick made it clear to everyone who loved Charlie Kirk that he understood why they love him. There wasn't a hint of sarcasm or mockery, only respect. Are you noticing a difference in the reactions of conservative opponents and liberal opponents? Even one of Charlie Kirk's biggest critics chose respect over mockery because he's a human being. For conservatives, it's almost impossible to fathom how anyone could celebrate the death of another person. If you can rejoice at a tragedy like this, you're watching the wrong channel. Because here we don't celebrate death. It's not our job to dispense judgment. And it's not something to cheer when someone else does. And that's what makes what Nick's about to say in this next clip so striking. He turned his words towards those celebrating. And he drew a line that cuts deeper than politics, because the real divide isn't between just left and right. It's between people with a conscience and without a conscience. Check it out.
I see an emerging consensus. And I think that the mature people that actually love America, actually love our children, the people that recognize the division, the peril that we're in, we need to fortify a new consensus and rally the people of conscience, the people of decency, the people of humanity, the people of charity towards their fellow man, against those that want to kill us, against those that laugh and celebrate when innocent people are harmed. For any reason, for any ideological reason, against the people that are cruel, the people that are hateful. And by that, I mean the people that are really cruel, not the people that say things you disagree with, not the people that are provocative, not the people that are sometimes angry, but the people that are really cruel and really evil. And let me be clear about this, because I understand not a lot of people are loving this message right now. This is not the message that a lot of people want to hear right now. Here's another message you can try on for size. These people that are now selling t-shirts with Charlie Kirk and a bullet wound in his neck, they cannot be negotiated with. You cannot debate with them. You cannot persuade them to vote Republican. You cannot appeal to them. You will never convince them that you're a good person, that you just want the best for everybody. You will never get them to stop hating you. People like to say, well, can the left finally admit that they have their own problem? They'll never admit that. They'll never admit that. These craven losers, that person that when Charlie Kirk got shot in the neck, instinctually got up and turned and celebrated, they have to be defeated. Not Democrats, not leftists, not liberals, those people that would celebrate in that moment, that is pure evil. Pure malice. There is no charity in a person's heart. I don't care who it is who sees anybody get their neck exploded and celebrate like that. That's the kind of evil we're dealing with. That's the kind of evil that has taken over our society. Recognize this. If these people ever get power over us, these people that celebrate, they sell t-shirts, they steal hats when a man is lying dead, they will hurt you. They will hurt your children, and they will destroy everything that is sacred to us, everything that we love, and they will do it with a smile. They're already doing it. They have done it. They're telling on themselves. I pray to God that nobody else is hurt as a result of this. I hope that it stops here. It should stop here. To all of my followers, If you take up arms, I disavow you, I disown you in the strongest possible terms. That is not what we are about. And the same goes obviously for the other side. And I want to make that very clear. It would be a profound moral, political mistake for anybody to take the bait and to engage in any kind of reprisal, retaliation, revenge. Remember, we are the good side. And what makes us good is that we have Christ.
You know, the way Nick described evil there was serious. Even, I don't know how else to describe it, but graphic. And honestly, it was horrifying. But the truth is, he wasn't exaggerating. We're living shoulder to shoulder with that kind of darkness every single day. And we become so desensitized to it that sometimes we barely notice anymore. We just go on with our days. That's why his long and most brutal description mattered. Because when people make a joke about a life being taken or worse, celebrate it, it's not just bad taste. It's a glimpse of the real enemy. And they're not slowing down. They're not going to stop. I think everyone's known this forever, but the ultimate fight isn't left versus right. It's good versus evil. And my hope is that the right remembers that in this moment, that we stop turning on each other and start recognizing the real fight isn't you versus me, but all of us together against that evil. And it goes beyond politics. At the end of the day, it's about humanity itself, those who cherish life and those who mock it. So today, in the middle of all of this grief, there's also a lesson. Nick Fuentes, someone who stood starkly opposed to Charlie Kirk, chose decency, respect, and humanity. And that should remind us all of what really matters. Life is precious, man. Truth is worth defending, and evil is very, very real. But it doesn't win when we stand together. Charlie Kirk's life and legacy deserve to be remembered that way. Please keep his family in your prayers. What do you guys think? Did you take away the same things that I did from Nick Fuentes' response? What were your thoughts? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, that's it for this video. No announcements. I hope you all have some time to relax or just take your mind off things this weekend. Stories we've been covering this week have been really rough. If I didn't have Jesus in my life, I don't know how I'd go to sleep. Because if God is for us, who can be against us? See you guys.